I'm doing good. Uh, this is going back a little bit, but I wanted to ask about your thought process on being a character on TV. I know originally you said, you were reluctant to do it. You were known as the matchmaker because that's a necessary element. Uh, but now we've seen you in recent weeks, and I'm including the stuff with, you appearing on the NFL draft. As part of it, but you've been more of a character in this sort of internal power struggle, and I just wanted to know, uh, you know, who or what sort of made you change your mind about being on TV more, if anything, because it's been effective, it's been well received, but I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on, the various appearances you've made in the past couple weeks, including, last night driving Darby into the arena with the truck.
Sure. Sure. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for saying it's been well received. I'm glad to hear that. And I've really tried to limit the amount of appearances that I personally have made over the past 5 years. I think it would be fair to say that less than 0.1% of the television time has been spent on me over the last 5 years. And that's how it should be. And occasionally, like you said, if a match needed to be made or a major announcement, I would come out and do those things. I am planning to, visit the fans again this weekend. And I love being at the events before and after with a live crowd and visiting with the fans, signing autographs and taking photos and things like that whenever I can. And it's really important to me that the focus of the show is on the wrestlers and the wrestling. And I think even when there's a story like the struggle for the control of the company, the power in the office, I think it's still important to feature it in the context of the wrestling show and with the wrestlers. So even in a thing last night, I think I was maybe for like at most 2 seconds on the show. And that's how it should be. You don't need to see a ton of me. It should be about the wrestlers and the reaction Darby got when he got into the arena. And because the Young Bucks had banned him from the arena and Kenny Omega has been out with the surgery, then there's really only one person that could lift that ban. And I felt like that ban really needed to get lifted. And it was really important going into Double or Nothing for the fans to see Darby and for him to go in and save Bryan Danielson on his birthday. And for Bryan and Darby to stand tall. And FTR have been a great part of AEW as well. I think this is a really cool team, AEW. It originally included Eddie Kingston, but when Eddie was injured in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and we're all wishing him the best and hoping Eddie gets well soon. We love Eddie very much, and we want to see him well and back. But the team changed and the circumstance changed when Eddie got hurt. And an interesting aspect of this team AEW is I think that you have, and again, you asked about me appearing on the show, and I'm trying to put the focus on team AEW and not talk, but I think it was important to get, Darby into the arena, and I can't wait for FTR to rejoin Bryan and Darby on Sunday at Double or Nothing. I think it's really cool that this team AEW represents 4 really key people in the locker room and also 4 people that came in really during what I see as almost the 3 different eras of AEW, that pre-pandemic, really even pre-Daly's Place, before we'd even been to Daly's Place. Darby is truly an original from the original shows before the original Fight for the Fallen in 2019 and before Dynamite. And so you have an original in Darby Allin, and then, FTR, who are Daly's Place, pandemic era, classic part of that run, and they were there through pretty much almost the entire Daly's Place pandemic. They did a full year with us, and they were with us when we went back on the road. And having Darby from that pre-Daly's Place, pre-pandemic era, FTR from that Daly's Place pandemic era, and then Bryan Danielson, who really exemplifies what it was when we got out back on the road and the possibilities and the excitement. And I think has embodied AEW as much as anybody for the last few years, Bryan Danielson. And then to have those four together, Darby Allin with Dax and Cash, FTR, and Bryan Danielson, that's a great team to me. And, you know, it was important Darby was there to back up Bryan last night, and I felt like there was only one person that could get him in there. But again, I think it was also important that, you know, at most maybe 2 seconds of that would be me and the rest is him, because it's important to showcase the wrestlers on the wrestling show. Thanks for asking.